Hello, everybody. This is Eric Virathaler of Virathaler Studios, and I am here with my friend here. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Jesse Gentry.
But yeah, thank you so much for that. And yeah, so me and Jesse are doing a horror movie called Slumber. So yeah, Jesse, how about that you tell everybody what this movie is about?
Yeah, so basically, Slumber is a horror movie. It's kind of just based off of folk tale and storytelling. So it takes place in a town called Livingston. Um, it's based off of Livingston, Montana, where I grew up and I was born. I just wanted to make something in that town. Livingston is a very special place to me, and it kind of holds that eerie, creepy vibe. Um, and so basically, this story um, follows this legend, which is by about this guy named the Lullaby Butcher or whatever it may be. We're still in the discussion of the new name. He lures victims with enchanting melodies from hauntingly beautiful music boxes, and it was once a myth, and now it terrorizes the town, becoming a reality of serious, gruesome murders, and it shakes the town up, and it makes a town go crazy. Um, the story follows a group of friends who is intrigued by the legend, um, and advertently awaken the dark force behind the lullaby butcher. Each note from the music boxes draws them closer to their doom. As they discover the melodies have the powers to mesmerize and manipulate, as they delve deeper into the history of the music boxes, they uncover the twisted past of a once innocent man who succumbed to madness and violence. With each murder, the killer's methods grow more brutal and creative, leaving the town in a state of fear and paranoia. The friends must race against the time to unravel the mystery behind the lullaby butcher, or, we're still in discussion of the new name. But, anyways, and it finds a way, and they need to find a way to stop the killer before they themselves become the next victims. As the line between myth and reality blur, they learn that the power of music can be both a siren call and a death knell. In a heart pounding climax, the remaining friends confront the truth of the lullaby butcher, still discussing the name, like I said, and the darkness that haunts their town, leading to a shocking revelation that will leave audiences questioning the true nature of evil. So, uh, like I said, this movie is just based off of myth and storytelling, but also there's some reality to that. So, sometimes we can find ourselves in these mental states where we go crazy and we use music as a way to cope. And so basically that's what the butcher does is he uses music. I don't want to spoil the movie too much, but he uses music to cope and he ends up going insane, and he uses the music to lure his victims and kill people with it, because music is supposed to be a soothing, calm, relaxing uh, aspect to life. But so I think if anyone, hears music, that they're automatically drawn to it. They want to go listen. They want to take part in the festival or whatever it may be. Um, but in this case, it leads them to their doom. You know, it's a crazy aspect and concept that we came up with. I I think we pretty much base this concept off of slasher movies like Scream, Halloween, um, Friday the 13th, and some other older movies. Is there anything else you want to add? Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely love the concept. I definitely love how it's very music focused, and knowing that music speaks to so many people, and I mean, music has that power to make us feel good. It has the power to make us feel scared, and I mean, you mentioned Halloween, and I mean, I believe that that's one of the reasons why Halloween became what it became. It's because of just hearing that iconic theme song for it. It just sends shivers down people's spines. And
You,
so yeah.
I actually just got done watching the new Halloween that came out probably a couple years ago or whatever it may have been. But there is something about just listening to the music and feeling what the characters feel when they hear it, and you know just like Michael Myers getting loose from the bus, you feel like you're there.
Right.
And I think that's what I love about horror movies is it draws you in and you become a part of the movie itself instead of just watching it. You're
Right.
immersed by it. And I think that's why I really wanted to take in part in creating my own horror movie. Excuse me, I gotta take some water.
That's okay.
Um, but that being said, I love just the concept of fear itself and how it can be resolved. It's like world problems, like we face anger and we have to figure out how do we solve this issue. It's the same thing with fear. We don't normally, as people, conquer fear as often. We try to avoid it, but horror movies force you, to really conquer it and overcome it. There's people hiding behind pillows, during movies, but at the same time, they're kind of looking over like they want to see it.
Uh-huh.
So like I think that I just find it very fascinating.
Yeah, and and one of the things that draws people into the horror genre is basically think of it like the same reason why people go on roller coasters. Like there are people who love to have that rush of adrenaline going through their bodies, and knowing that afterwards, after they are done, knowing that they're going to be safe. Which, and I mean, the argument can be made that watching a horror movie is actually a lot cheaper, like than to it's actually a lot cheaper than to go on a roller coaster.
Yeah, 100%. And I think another thing that really inspired us is Halloween's right around the corner.
Yep.
So, and of course, you have wonderful friends in the horror genre industry,
Uh huh.
and I think that also inspired us. Taking part in what they developed um, is a really big key factor in this too. So if you want to discuss some of that too.
Oh yeah, and one of the things that I love about the horror genre is like that it's definitely very driven by the concept, which and I mean, which is definitely very helpful like for independent films because while having a bigger name actor, it definitely can help, but I mean it. But it's not a necessity though when it comes to independent films because it's very concept driven. I mean, heck, I mean, look at, look at the original like to see. Yeah, and I mean like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre that had no name actors in it, but yet
Hmm.
and then afterwards, and then and then it became what it is now, and yeah, none of them had a single clue that that movie was gonna become what it is now.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing I love about the horror genre is it's so easy to make. You can almost just shoot it on your phone. And nowadays, a lot of people would like to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just also very like you have to think scene by scene how you're going to jump scare someone, or how do you want to kill this person off. It takes a lot of creative thinking, and I really enjoy that, where it's almost like a brain exercise
Yep.
writing the script. And then when you're on set, you might think, oh, we could do this or do that, and things will come to you and so easily because it's such a fun thing to do. Um, so I wanted to discuss a little bit about like why we're doing this episode. Um, and the next episodes to come, and what our ideas are and what we plan on for the future for Slumber and the next upcoming movie. Spoiler alert. Um, what is to come in the future of this. So what I would like to start off with is the reason why we're doing this is because we want our audience, you guys, to be a part of the filmmaking process with us. This is my first official movie, by myself, going from production to directing and screenwriting and the whole 9 yards. And I'm pretty sure this is pretty close to one of your first films, yeah, Eric?
Well, so I actually have directed feature length movies before. I directed two, and a third one's gonna be coming out here soon. And yeah, and I've acted in those films, and I was in a commercial music video. I was just in a horror movie, and I also was just cast in another horror movie. And so yeah, and I mean ultimately, it seems like horror is going to be my destiny. But hey,
Yeah,
that is something that I am totally okay with, though.
yeah. I mean, this is my first horror movie I've done. I mean, I guess this isn't really my first horror movie, but this is like my first horror movie. That I have a project coming out where I did The Wolf and the Lamb. That's kind of a horror movie, with the children becoming vampires and taking over the town. But this is like my first slasher jump scare out there kind of film, and I've done a lot of more of heartfelt like films like Cycle and Forest for Trees, where I became got an award for Best Young Actor in 2021 at Indie Film Fest. Um, and so I think doing this new genre really widens my skill and the variety I can do, and it really teaches me how to be flexible. You know, um, so like I said, anyways, getting back on track here, we're kind of getting off track. The reason why we want to do this is because we want to bring people into the our first ever like horror, I guess, concept, and I think that's very important to bring our audience into the making process of our movie. Um, Being a part of the project, you don't only just get to watch it, you get to feel it and really have that joy of the final product, and it's wanting you to come back for more and see what more projects we have. um you know do you have anything to add to that, Eric?
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, we just hope that this will be a movie like that will resonate with audiences, and I certainly do believe it has that potential to do it, since it's very, very music focused, and I mean, science, science has shown like that music actually can release all the feel good chemicals into your brain, and so I believe that that's why music has such a worldwide mass appeal. And so, and I mean, just knowing that we can play up on like the darker sides of music, I definitely think
Mhm.
the light can make this movie truly one of a kind.
Yeah. So anyways, I just want to let's dive into some real life stories that kind of inspires us. um I don't know if you can think of anything right now, but uh what inspires me is like when I was younger, I came from a broken home and stuff like that, and it almost felt like a horror movie because I didn't know what was going to happen next. Um, I didn't know if I what next meal I was going to have or whatnot. And so I'm taking a lot of my past experiences and I'm putting it into the script. That's what I'm doing. This movie is not just, oh, let's write a story. It's, let's write something meaningful and let's bring it to a select group audience that can feel the exact same thing I'm feeling as I did in the past and as I am right now. Um, it's This movie is very, very important to me, and I want the audience to know that I'm not going to stop until I make it, until he makes it as well.
Awesome, man. And and I certainly greatly do appreciate that. I definitely have your back through all this, and yeah, and that is the right mindset to have. Knowing that regardless what comes in the way, that you are going to persist on.
Yes, absolutely. So, anyways, um, jumping into the movie now. Now that we got the background, now we got what our goals are and why we're doing this. Um, let's talk about kind of the budgeting, and kind of the new concepts that we want to bring in as a film and as directors. And so here I'm gonna pull up the budget right now. So give me a second here. I should have had this pulled up. My bad, guys.
Okay.
Um, Here we go. I don't know. Is there a way that I can share my screen?
Um,
Present, share screen. There we go. Uh, Share screen. Uh, there we go. Share. Can you see my screen all right?
yep, I certainly can.
Awesome. So this is all the breakdown notes. I'm not gonna ruin any of this stuff. You guys don't get to see that. Um, so here is the budget breakdown. Um, so this is post production. So this is the full feature that we're looking at right here. Let's start off with the short budget. So what we're looking to fundraise and get here is $25,000 for this short film. Um, the reason why we have this number right here is because of all this stuff right here, and let's take a deep dive in this. So the script development is going to be about $1,000. So that's going to be like paying people to read over the script and uh, you know help us develop the script and get it to really where we want it. You know what I mean? Um, and that costs money. Yeah, I mean, we have some people that do it for free, but like the apps and all the stuff that we need, pricing wise, to get it where we want it is going to cost money. So the casting fee for the short film is around $500 to $1,000 as well. Uh, and so that's where that $500 comes from. And then, of course, location scouting and permits cost money. Permits cost probably the more amount of money out of this, but for us to go look at locations, we need gas money and hotel spending and stuff like that. Which honestly, this isn't a lot for what we need, but it allows us to travel.
Oh
Um,
yeah, certainly.
now going down to the second part where it's production. So this is where we really see the big chunk of money really come into play. So the crew salary is around $800, $8,000. Sorry. and then the talent pay is about $5,000. So I'll go into deeper detail here in a minute about this right here for the short budget, and really dumb it down to how much everyone's going to be making and stuff like that. Um, so the location rentals, that's for like location spots, like houses to rent out for filming, and stuff like that. Uh, there all I should have also put a little bit of money into this for like housing our actors and cast and stuff like that, but I didn't put any of that in there. That's probably going to be coming more out of my pocket than anything. And then of course equipment rental. This is where it's a big deal, because we need the camera to shoot the movie. Yeah, right.
Oh
You know what I mean? We can't really shoot a movie without a camera. I mean, like I said earlier, we could use our phones, but this is a production, where we need the cameras, we need the lighting, we need the sound equipment. Um, so roughly, I did some looking around. Roughly, it's around $3,000 for the rental for all of it. And then for this, coming down into the sets and designs and props, we need around $1,500 for the props, like clothing, or not clothing, like I don't want to spoil the movie too much. This is hard. Um, we need like cell phones and stuff like that, and breakaway stuff, and masks, and you name it. Anything that involves the props of the movie and things that you see on camera. And then also the set design, we need to buy certain items to go into like the houses and the other shots that we do. So that's where that breakdown comes from. The costumes and makeup is around $500. It's probably honestly going to be anywhere from $500 to $1,500 as well. So we're looking at a little bit more than 25, maybe 26. Um, but this is really important because this is what you see the most. You know what I mean, Eric? It's you see the characters in their costumes.
yeah.
This is a stuff that's really important, where it's in front of the camera and it's there and you see it. So that's where that budget came from. And then post production is pretty straightforward. Um, this is for editing, sound design, and music licensing and stuff like that. This is probably going to have to go up because I read your note. And then also for this, 10%. Now, so let's go into the daily pay. So this is, yep. So this is for the short film here. So this is for the union status, the location, for the short film. So what we're really looking at, because this is all union based here, based rate, is $500 to $1,000 a day for directors, and then the director of photographer DP $400 to $800 a day, sound mixer $300 to $600 a day, gaffer and grip $200 to $500, and then production assistants. Um, we're gonna have either probably one or two of those, so that's $100 to $200 a day, and we're really looking at about probably 7 or 8 days of filming here. So you do the math, it adds up. And then with the actors, we also got to pay the actors.
Yep.
So this is just the base rate for becoming a union set. It's anywhere from $300 to $500 a day, and then the rest you can see it's pretty straightforward. Oh, whoops! Did not mean to do that. But anyways, So you kind of get the gist and the breakdown of what we have here. Um, so that's what we're looking for. So if anyone is interested in helping us fund this film and really becoming a part of it, I'm guessing we're going to probably put a link down below of this video and really get you guys involved. And at the end of the movie, we're also going to have a Patreon thanking, and if you donate, you guys will definitely be added into that movie credit there. And I think it also adds that form of really becoming a part of this movie, and I think it'd be cool for you guys to see yourselves on the big screen and be like, hey, that's my name. I helped fund this, and you guys get really excited about that, and that's what I love about being in the film community.
Hmm.
It's a lot more than making a movie. It's really about creating friendships and creating self character development. And you know, I'm just going to share the story on how we met.
Hmm.
And where we are right now is just it's cool because of film. So back in the day, not back in the day, I guess like 3 4 months ago, yeah, somewhere around there.
I believe it was back in May. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
it
somewhere
was back around then. Yeah.
yeah. So it was a while ago, I guess. It's October now, but um, so Eric and I, we were on the set for this music video called Hoedown, right?
Yep.
Yep. And who is it by again?
It's by Silly Rose.
Yep. So if you guys want to go check that out, it's a great music video. This guy right here, Eric, has an amazing part in there. I don't want to spoil it,
But yeah, you just
but
gotta go watch
it's
the video itself. But I mean, if you're friends with me on Facebook, though, I share some of the behind the scenes footage of me filming my big scene, and so a lot of the people on my Facebook know about it, but I guess not everyone knows about it. And so for all those who don't know about it, I will definitely will leave a link to it.
yeah, it's absolute. I think we need to add something like that in our movie. Where
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was a lot of fun to just lock it and throw it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, it was a lot of fun just seeing it. I mean, the correspondence and like the way the stunt team worked it out with you. It looked freaking amazing from where I was,
Mhm.
and it looked almost real. You know,
Yeah,
um,
and yeah, and it's funny because everybody who sees that scene, without spoiling too much, everyone always says that, like, "Wow, that looks so real." And that was my first time ever even doing that. And
yeah.
well, it was not my first time acting, but it was my first time doing that, if you know what I mean. And
Hmm.
the funny thing is, when I first saw that ad pop up, I was like, "Huh, I've never done a music video before." I was like, I don't know how many people will see this video, because at that time I thought it was just for like a local band that had like
Hmm.
what, like 12 followers. I was like, hey, but I'll take this opportunity, to expand on my resume, and ultimately I'll see where this takes me. And then then I met you on set, and I met a ton of other great people on set, and then I believe it was you like who told me like who Cecilia Rose actually is, and then you were the one who told me she has 1 million followers on her Instagram. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, yeah.
1 million followers, and knowing that I had that big of a scene, and I'm like, people actually are going to see this.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm hoping for this too. I want people to see it. I want people to be emerged by this and make it what they like other franchises. Them wanting the movie. I want people to accept it and take part in it and create our own community out of this.
Yeah.
But to get back on track, anyways, I was sitting there watching you do your scene, and it was so amazing, and none of that would have happened if it wasn't for film. I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for film. The I'm pretty sure you were pretty much the first person I met walking on set that day, and it
I
just so
believe so.
happened. And we just so happened to just start talking about some of the stuff we've done and so on and so forth. And I mainly do modeling, of course, and but I've been getting more into film lately. uh, but I the concept of meeting someone and being able to do a project with someone and expand uh, your group of friends. It's not just work buddies
Yep.
or anything like that. Like, we're truly friends.
Uh-huh.
We talk, we go on rides. We went on this trip where I went to you helped me go to Livingston for a movie shoot, and I mean, it was probably a really boring day for you, but it was also a great time for you because you also got to connect with people
Yep.
and meet new people. And that's what it's all about, is networking, widening your variety of networking. A lot of people in the industry, they don't really cover it that much. They just, people are always thought, oh, if you act, you're going to get gigs. That's not necessarily the truth. You have to create friends, and you have to create new networks, and you always have to be going to network events. And I mean, it's really hard to really widen your variety of networking at a networking event, because you really, in order to get gigs and stuff like that, you really have to become friends with that person,
Yep.
and
So,
really definitely, like, you guys have to really bond before someone ever offers you just a project. I mean, I've had some occasions where, you know I offer someone a project and they offer me a project back, and that's just working together as a team. And that's what I love about the film community. We always have each other's back no matter what, you know. And you've made it when you're making projects. I
mhm.
A lot of people are always getting down and saying, "Oh, I'm not going anywhere with this," or blah blah. You know what? My opinion, you made it when you started making a project.
Yeah,
Either that's if that's either you stepping on set on someone else's, or you stepping on set of your own. I mean, just making that small step, that's success right there.
that is, yeah.
Just jumping into it.
Yeah.
And
And oh,
no,
oh,
go ahead.
but yeah, I totally didn't mean to cut you off there. I do apologize. But yeah, um, your mindset is everything. Like if you go into it with that mindset saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna make it. I'm a failure. It's not working out for me." Well, and then ultimately things are not going to work out for you. But if you change your mindset to I can do it and I am enough,
I
then you will see better results.
Yeah. Um I don't want to, like, speak on your behalf or anything. So, if you want to share your experience with going into the film industry, and then what happened, and then going back into it, and why we and I'll share my experience as well with that. Where So basically, when I was around 15, 16 years old, I was really into it. I was in a lot of films, and that's where I got Best Young Actor in 2021. And then I took time off. I I felt I wasn't going anywhere, and even though I'm doing a whole bunch of projects, I just felt like I wasn't doing anything. And so I took some time off, and I really beat myself up, because we all have this mindset of, if I'm not in a movie with Dwayne the Rock Johnson, or uh, you know Kevin Hart, or even Ryan Reynolds, you're not making it. And I was really beating myself up because I felt like I was going nowhere. But then a really important person in my life that passed away, that was in the film industry, said, "Jesse, You need to stop beating yourself up. You know, you're making it. He said exactly what I told you guys about just stepping on set. That's the reality of it. And that really changed my mindset to think about, man, I am making it. Man, you know what? I may not be a superstar or anything like that, but I'm my own star. You know, I had a gentleman named Gary Fish in my hometown. I was lucky to be on set with him. He wasn't famous by any means, but this man brought so much joy just acting with and being around and stepping on set with him. That was his success. And our town loved him for who he was. And it wasn't just because he was famous or anything like that. He wasn't. But he and at the same time he had a great mindset, and that's really what made him a town celebrity, is having a good mindset and having a positive outcome out of every situation. It didn't matter what it was. It could be the worst situation and he could crack up a joke and make everyone laugh, you know. And that's what it's about, is positive mindset, being a community and creating art. And that individual ended up passing away, Gary, sadly. And but we still carry his memory because he was such a enjoyable person. If you go in the town of Livingston where we're going to be filming this movie, if you go to the Shane Center, which is the kind of like theater place in the town, it, we kind of have our own Walk of Hollywood, or whatever what is it called? The Stars. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
I think
Hollywood
it's,
Stars,
I think it's talking about isn't it
Boardwalk.
like the Walk of Fame or
Yeah, Walk of Fame.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have our own Walk of Fame, and we have 2 stars right now. And it's Gary Fish, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name, and I feel terrible. Um, but his memory still lives on there, and so I want everyone to understand, like, you can you can beat yourself up, or you guys can change your mindset and be positive about it and really push yourself and be thankful for the opportunity you guys have, and um, really just go out there and enjoy it. You know, there's not any other career I can really think about that involves so much friendship and connection. I mean, besides the military. Um, but anyways, sorry, I keep getting off these topics and I keep going down into rabbit holes. But moral of the story is, I ended up going back into film, and changing my mindset really played a crucial role into where I am now and why I am doing what I am. Um, so I would like to give you some time and discuss your kind of experiences with that.
Yeah, I mean, I may not have gone through beat for beat the exact same circumstance, but a lot of the feelings though, I definitely do relate to, like about the feeling of I can't do it, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, like I've loved movies practically my entire life. I mean, movies have defined my entire life. You know, it's just how it ended up, and yeah, and there were people who told me in high school that it was never gonna happen, and after high school, I tried to make a movie, and unfortunately, for more reasons than one, it just didn't work out. And yeah, failure, it can be very, very hard to deal with that. And since I've been down that road, I can definitely understand why people would take it so hard. It's because that we feel like that we did something wrong, or we feel like that we are inadequate, and we just feel like we just don't measure up. And I mean, ultimately, failure always gives us like those not so feel good chemicals into your brain, and that can be really difficult to deal with. And then after all that, I was like, well, I guess I'll just work at Albertsons. I'm not trying to blanket the company all in all like as being bad. I mean, there are going to be good apples and bad apples at almost every job that I work at. I worked at two Albertsons. The first one, I honestly was there just for the paycheck. I mean, it had its good sides, but it had its bad sides to it. I mean, it just wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And then ultimately, I realized, hey, I only have one life. And, I'm not going to be young forever. I'm not going to be alive forever. And so I need to do something with my life. And I was going to pursue paleontology. And for those who don't know, it is it's like the scientific study of like prehistoric life, like dinosaurs and mammoths and all that good stuff. So yeah, I was doing that in college, and then for more reasons than one, when I took mineralogy in college, which is the study of minerals, that was a very vital course for me to take in paleontology, because fossils are made of minerals, rocks are made of minerals. So I was going to have to understand how minerals work. Uh, at that time, I moved, so I had to transfer to a different Albertsons, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say where that one is located at, because I want to be professional. But yeah, that one was a lot worse than the first Albertsons that I worked at. Even a lot of my other coworkers at that time were saying the exact same stuff that I was saying, and so then that right there was proof that it wasn't just me. And yeah, I was dealing with a lot of my personal life at that time, and unfortunately, I didn't pass mineralogy. And yeah, and I took that hard because I tried filmmaking, then I failed at that, then I tried paleontology, then I failed at that too. I was like, it, I just felt like, what does my life even mean? Like, like what even is my purpose in life? And then I met the right person at the right time. I got connected to a girl who worked on the Jurassic World movies. Her and I started a really powerful bond. And at that time, when I met her, I had no idea that she even was associated with the making of those movies. It wasn't until later on when she told me that she did. You definitely know that you made a good friend when you and that person can be up for hours and hours, super late at night, and just endlessly talking and
Mm-hmm.
never run out of things to talk about. That's exactly what happened to me and her. Just we were up until like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's now four. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it's this late at night, and then and then I definitely crashed hard. And I believe it was that night when she told me that she worked on Jurassic World, and she told me she was the one who came up with the Indominus Rex. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, you're not pulling my leg now, are you? And then
Mm-hmm.
she then proved to me that she wasn't, because she showed me a picture of her on set of Jurassic World, like with like Chris Pratt and all that. So I was like, okay, so you're not pulling my leg. You're actually being serious. I'm like,
Yeah.
kudos to you. And yeah, and I met her because she's a paleontologist, and so therefore it makes sense why that she would be associated with those movies, since they're
Mm-hmm.
about dinosaurs and all that. And so one day I was talking to her on the phone, and I was taking historical geology at that time in college, because I was like, okay, I failed mineralogy. Maybe me taking historical geology will be my second chance at that. Maybe it could be my redemption. I got a D in mineralogy, but I did get a C in historical geology. Well, I may not have gotten an A, but hey, but at least I passed. So, anyways, one day I was reading through the textbook, and her and I were talking on the phone. I think it was around Valentine's Day of 2022. May not have been on Valentine's Day, but it was at least close enough. One day she caught me off guard completely, and she said, Eric, I'm going to be blunt with you. You would be a lot better at filmmaking than you would be at paleontology. that caught me off guard because I was not expecting that. Because I made up my mind. I was like, filmmaking is just not meant to be. Because I tried it and I failed, and I thought that I would have a better chance at paleontology because I'm in Montana. And at first, I got really defensive about it. I was arguing with her about it. But then eventually I realized that she was right.
But sometimes we all need that little push, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely needed that push, and we kind of have the same story. Someone just told us to buck up and really suck it up and tell us straight how it is. Like you're much better where you want to be than you are right now. You know. Anyways,
Yeah.
sorry, I just want to put some input in there.
Oh, that that is totally fine. And yeah, and I mean, she helped make one of my lifelong dreams come true. It was my lifelong dream to contact Jim Carrey because I've been a huge fan of his for practically my entire life. And she met him at Museum of the Rockies, and then she threw me a big bone, and then she got him to send me a signed picture. And ultimately, that was one of the things that really sealed that deal for me. And and then ultimately, I definitely learned to let go of my ego, and it taught me to listen to constructive criticism because there are a lot of people out there who will just flat out refuse to listen to that kind of stuff. And now paleontology, it definitely still it is a hobby of mine. And I mean, there isn't anything wrong with being interested in more than one thing. It's just a matter of, you know, really outweighing the pros and cons of what it is that you're good at, what is it that you're not good at. And what I've learned, failure is your greatest teacher in life. Because if it wasn't for me failing at filmmaking the first time, if it wasn't for me failing at paleontology, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm. Love that. I love that. I mean, yeah, like I said, sometimes we all need to get pushed out of the nest after uh, refusing to leave. You
Yeah.
know, so sometimes we fall out, and then sometimes we need someone to pick us back up. You know, and I think that's why we enjoy film so much is because it's a big part of our life, and um, we're both amazing at it. We love it, and we love creating friends. And if it
Uh-huh.
wasn't for those friends, you know, our self esteem wouldn't be where it is.
Yeah, and yeah, and I could definitely speak on that because if it wasn't for me meeting her, I can guarantee you that I would have never met you. Considering that I never would have even tried to be in that Cecily Rose video, and I never would have been in that commercial that I was in this year. I never would have been in any of these horror movies. I mean, heck, even my entire podcast would have never happened if it wasn't for her. And I mean, there's that saying that sometimes that you do meet people for a reason. And I genuinely am convinced that I met her for a reason. And yeah, and even to add up on my podcast, like with the whole having to deal with, things not going your way. One of the other reasons why I started up my podcast is because the actor who played the creature from the Black Lagoon unfortunately passed away around January of last year, and I felt so much regret about that. I was like, man, I had all that time to contact him, and that I never did, and then I felt like that was a missed opportunity. And missed opportunities that can really take a toll on you
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that level. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to redeem myself.
Just like that saying is, you're gonna miss every opportunity that you don't take.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that is one of the best life quotes I have ever heard. And so then I was like, okay, Boris Karloff's daughter, Sarah Karloff, she is alive still. So I thought, hey, I okay, I might have missed my chance, like with, I might have missed my chance, like with Rico, like who played the Gill Man in the Creature movies. But I was like, okay, but I still have my chance with Sarah Karloff. And then I took that chance. I reached out to Sarah Karloff. I was like, hey, would you want to come on my channel for an interview? And yeah, and it felt very surreal getting to talk to Sarah Karloff because I've known about her practically my entire life. And, uh, and yeah, knowing that that was the very first interview that I had on my podcast. And then, and then afterwards, I was like, hey, this is a great way, like, for me to meet people and, connect with people, find those like-minded people, because that's a very common question that I get. People ask me all the time, so how are you meeting these people? And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, with the advent of social media and the internet, it's made it a lot easier to find these like-minded people and and to find all these people. Wow, yes, and I mean, I certainly won't say no to going to meet them in person and going on set, going to networking events, and I mean, heck, that's how that I met you. so
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah,
Um, well, that being said, I think we should start wrapping some stuff up here.
yeah, probably.
Um, I, 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 I just want to say now you guys got to meet us a little bit. Um, and so I really hope you guys kind of really like what you're hearing and want to take part in this journey. Of course, the next podcast is going to be a lot more structured than this one. This one was kind of just like I called them up yesterday or something like that, and I said, "Hey, I have an idea. We need to hop on a podcast, get this idea out there." You know, I'm just so excited about this. I couldn't wait.
Uh-huh,
So
yeah.
so of course the next podcast is going to be a lot more structured, definitely.
Okay.
Um, so that being said, the next podcast is going to have a lot more details about the script and some of the stuff that we're going to be doing, and maybe some teasers in there. Who knows? But that being said, I want to leave everyone off with a quote by the movie Little Woman in 2019. Um, is there anything you want to add before I do this quote and we end this?
Okay, well, I have a few quotes. One is from Rocky Balboa. It's not about how hard you get hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And my next quote is from Jim Carrey. You can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well should go take a chance at doing what you love.
Absolutely. And my quote, of course, is I'm not afraid of storms, for I'm learning how to sail my ship. So, with those quotes being said, let's end this podcast. I
Alrighty.
hope I hope everyone has an amazing day, and can't wait to talk to you guys again.
Alrighty. And we will be sure to keep you all updated.
All right, bye guys.
I see you later.